So hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today we'll be starting with database management system. In your earlier classes you may have studied MySQL. Now we'll be studying an advanced topic of MySQL, that is PLSQL. So in PLSQL we majorly cover three topics. One is your procedure, second is your cursors, and third is your function. Mostly when they are covered in your classroom and they are taught as separate topics, but when you get these type of questions in your exam, you'll be getting a mix of either two or three of them. So today I brought a mixture of all the three so that in case any question comes to integrate both or the all three of them, you will be able to solve them. So let's start. So this is question number one. This is on bank management system. It has two relations, customers and accounts. Now you have to create two tables. I hope by your prior knowledge you will be able to do that with primary key and foreign key. What will be the foreign key? Customer ID. As we can see, primary key of first table and foreign key for second table. Create a function named getTotalBalance. So let's start with solving this question, and along with solving the question, I will also be explaining the syntax. So let's start. And we'll be doing part wise 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now let's see. So first we'll create the table. In create table, we'll create two tables. I'll explain it using a pointer. So table customers with customer ID, primary key, customer name, varchar, city, varchar. Then accounts, account ID as primary key, customer ID, open date, balance and status. Now sometimes what happens is we forget to often write the foreign key statement. So it can also be asked in Viva. So what you do is use the alter table command, alter table accounts, add foreign key statement, and you press semicolon, add semicolon and press enter. So that is how you can add your foreign key here. So now when we are creating a function, some things to remember is delimiter slash slash, always common. Create function, always common. Function name as per the question. In parameters, always remember when we write the parameters, like in C++, we write int C, int D. So here you write the column name and then its type. Returns int whatever you want to return, either it returns decimal, it returns long, int, whatever, as per the need of the question. Suppose varchar, so you can write varchar, char, deterministic, either you write deterministic or non-deterministic, then you begin. Till here is what remains common. Now, like we used to write in C++, int C, then in the next line C is equal to 0. Here we write declare variable name and its type. And when we want to assign a default value, we write default, suppose 0, and then semicolon. Now we know that in MySQL we write select sum aggregate function of all the balances into the variable total underscore balance. Use the keyword into, very important, from accounts where your customer ID matches with your argument. Return the total balance and end. End with the same slashes that you started with. A very important thing is when you are trying to print a string from the function, it may give an error because it is not mostly allowed. So what you do is you return a integer value like -1, 0, that signifies something, and using a select statement, in select you can use case, and then you can print whatever you want, but inside the function you may not be able to do that. So now let's see our procedure. Delimiter, create procedure, same always, procedure name. Now when we study procedure, we have to understand about the parameters. One is int, one is out, and one is inout. Mostly in and out are used. In out is not mostly used. So let's understand. In means input, like always, and out means output. Suppose you want to at the rate level, and input is your suppose price. Input in what price, what level the product is it a luxury level or a lower level? So like that. So input and output. Based on input, output will be stored in that variable. Like you wrote in here, you will be writing out. In variable name, integer, data type. Similarly, if you want to give more than one parameter, it's mentioned here, the format. Begin, always same. Now starts the inner body. This question is, like I told you, declare a variable name customer exist with integer default value 0. Let's understand the need of the question. We have to create a procedure named add underscore accounts. We've done that. For a given customer ID and balance, to insert a new record with the given customer ID and balance. Open date should be current date. Status should be active. Let's see that first. So we declare total within default value 0. Now this is very important. Continue handler, one is your continue handler and your exit handler. And exit handler. Sometimes in your exams, if you don't write this exceptional handling part, your marks would be deducted. So declare continue handler for SQL exception, begin, select error occurred as error, end. As error means whenever it will print like this. Error will be the heading, and here error occurred will be written. Select count star. The count into, I explained into, count star into customer underscore exists from customer where it matches the ID. Now suppose if the count star is 0, then you write that the customer ID is not existing and with the header as message. Else what you do is insert with these values and then you write the values. Now like I said active, so here they wrote a default value as active. Let me erase this. I'll use a pointer now. So they used active status. Current date was also mentioned in the question, so current date. Now set total is equal to, now we have to, what we have to do for total balance? We have to call the function that we had created first. We call the function set total is equal to get total balance. Set is used for assigning a value to a variable. Select concat. Concat is for joining two statements. Account added with balance and total will be added here as message. End your if. Now for if statement, remember if, else if, and end if. When you are ending all of these statements, you have to write end if. Very important. After if you have to write then. After else you do not have to write if slash whatever expression condition and then. End with the same slashes and delimiter. First you set the delimiter as slash slash. Now in the end you set it as semicolon. Why? A very important question asked in Viva. Why do we do this? Because we don't want when we are putting a semicolon here, it should treat it and end the program execution there. We want to write the full code of the procedure and then only a code executes. So therefore, till the time we don't write slash slash, it will not go to the next command. So now next see the next part. Now let's see the last part, that is creating a procedure named. Now in this basically this question is asking for a cursor creation named cur underscore active underscore account to fetch all the records that which is status is active. Indirectly the question is asking for cursor, but what we have to create is a procedure inside which will be a cursor. So let's see. Delimiter create procedures, no arguments needed, begin, declare done, declare. Now, mostly when we are using cursor, the records that you have to fetch, you have to declare them. Like in C++, we write int a, comma b, comma c. Then we write a is equal to 1, b is equal to 2, c is equal to a plus b. So you declare them first. Similarly here also. I am taking the example of C++ language because I am familiar with that language. So this is just an example. If you do not know C++ also, no worries. So then after that, what you do is you declare then you declare cursor name, cursor keyword for select 1, 2, 3 from tables combination where status is equal to active. You declare cursor name, cursor for a select statement. This is how you declare a cursor. Declare continue handler for not found. Set done is equal to 1. Now, first of all is what you do is declare. Then you open a cursor. Open your cursor. Then you start loop label is to loop. Then you fetch your cursor name into the variables that you defined earlier. Now these will come 1, 2, 3. If your done is equal to 1, you leave the loop and you end if statement. Very important. Then when you want to print it, you print it using your select statements. Now for multiple accounts, that means the customer ID will be same and we are checking if it's an active account or not. So you'll place an if condition, then you'll end if, end the loop till the time you are extracting your information. Your loop should work. You close it, then you close it. You end your loop also, first of all. If done is equal to 1, no active accounts found as message, end if and end with the same slashes that you start with. Here there's a mistake. Anyone can point out the mistake. This is your homework. I earlier also explained what should be here, placed here. Assume this line is not there. So what will I write after this so that my command line comes back to what it was earlier? So I'll write it with the laser So I've written the statement with the laser. So identify that. So now let's move on to the next question. So this is our next question. I can understand that these questions are too big, but as you can see, they are of 20 marks. And 20 marks means there will be so much to write. So try now, as we have understood the concept, it will be easier for us to do the next set of questions. So this is the second question for the day. Consider a transport management system. This is about your transport management system. Buses, transport. Now, can you see any foreign key? Yes, I am able to see. First of all, you do nothing, ignore everything, see the two tables. What will be the primary key? What will be the foreign key? First and most important thing, because your entire code will be wrong if your initialization is wrong. Very important. First, choose the primary key and your foreign key. Create and populate the table. Now, you may be asking, what is populating the table? Like we say, in Earth, there is a set of population, means people inside. And similarly, data inside the table is known as populate the table. Okay. So now, as we move forward, I'll be dictating the question and we'll be solving together. So let's see the answer to this question. So first, we have to create the table. The tables are created above. As we can see, the bus create table and the transport. Now, please note that you may not write this part. This part is optional. This is how you create the table. What is auto increment? Some may ask. Auto increment means it automatically, without getting a value, also it will increment the ID by 1. Question says with appropriate constraints. So therefore you have to use unique, not null, as per your requirement. Then is create a function named get underscore student underscore count with bus ID as your input and calculates and returns the total number of students registered in transport underscore rec for a given bus ID. So delimiter, now as you may see, delimiter dollar dollar. Earlier I used to use slash slash. I use this specifically because some may have a doubt in their mind how to use dollar. So this is how you use dollar. Create function, function name. Int comes later and your name comes first. Returns integer deterministic begin. Declare total students. Now what is this? If null count star comma 0. If it is null, it would automatically assign 0. This is optional, either I directly count star. This is for a better code. Into your variable from transport underscore rec. This is your table where your bus ID is as your parameter. Return the total number of students and with the dollars and delimiter. Understand no select statement like select done. This all will not be working. Next, delimiter. So let's read the question. Create a procedure name register underscore student with student ID and bus ID, and to insert a record. The register date should be current date, and if a bus ID does not exist, it should display an error message. We'll be seeing that. Before inserting, compare the current count with the bus capacity. If the capacity is full, right, bus capacity is full. So let's see. So delimiter, as always, create procedure register underscore student. In YouTube, you often get an option of zooming. If it is not visible, please zoom. You are requested to zoom for better visibility of the answer. You declare the variables with the default value like I had explained earlier. Now, how will you check if a bus exists or not? You'll see using count star into how many bus exists into the variable name into keyword used here where your bus ID matches. If your bus ID count star is 0, then you can use select statement in procedure but not in function. Bus ID does not exist as message. Else you know that you can check the capacity now. You know that this bus does exist. So check the capacity and store it in the variable. Now set the total is equal to from your function, use of your function with parameter as your parameter from here. Are you seeing we are linking the two parts together? These type of tricky questions are there in your papers. So try to understand them. If total is greater than your bus capacity, then bus capacity is full, registration denied. As message means message as header. Else you insert the values into the table. Select registered successfully current count as message and your if statement, another if statement, end with the dollar dollar and the final statement. This was your homework also earlier. So this was your answer. If you are still not able to see, zoom it. These questions are very important. Try writing them on your own on your command line. Last part is create a trigger named trigger update bus count on transport reg where it automatically increments the current student's value as soon as a new student is added. If the new count exceeds the bus capacity, raise an exception. Nice question. Let's see. So delimiter as always, you now for create trigger always same trigger name. That's all. No brackets, nothing. Now suppose you have here it is saying after inserting a record. So you write after insert on table name. Suppose we say after updation. So after update. If we say before insertion, before insert. So after insert on table name for each row, very important, for each row, remain same for every question. Begin, declare the variable. Update buses where current students is equal to current student plus 1. Why? Because we are adding a student. Select current students into new count where bus ID is equal to the bus ID we had. New dot bus ID. When we are using trigger, one thing to remember is you use like new dot capacity is greater than your old dot capacity. Here you mostly don't have the option like you have in cursor to extract the values, but you have this option new dot capacity and old dot capacity. So this is like we are saying new dot capacity, it's saying you extract the value. If your new count, we inserted here new count is greater than your capacity, then you signal the SQL state 45000 set message text capacity underflow end if. Otherwise, what you can do is this doesn't return anything, so you have to use this part. End if, end dollar dollar, and delimiter. Now, till now, I haven't told you guys how to call the functions, call. So this is how you do call, call. Now, the difference is in case of a procedure, you use call, but in function, you use select, function name, and parameters. function name, and this is your parameters. So let's see the next question. So now this is a homework question for you all. Try this question. This is a very important question as it is of the same type that we have done earlier. The thing is only a if statement extra you have to write. Rest procedure you have to create a trigger, maybe function. You have to use a cursor also in between. You have to check that. If you have any doubt, you can write it in the comments section. I'll answer it as soon as possible. So thank you. If you like the video, do like, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel for more videos related to this content. You can write it in the comment section which topic you want. Otherwise, I'll be starting with normalization, canonical forms, and different types function dependencies and that those topics. So thank you. Have a great day. Bye bye.